Happy Thursday. I've decided to come on live again on our personal page here. It's so much fun. I love hearing from you guys. Just gonna check on the sound. Welcome in everyone on the replay or live with me. Can't really see on Facebook who's live or not. I don't really know. Give me a second here. Okay, we're working. It's working. The sound is working. Welcome in. So my name is Jocelyn. I'm coming in here to talk about the law of assumption today, which is one of my favorite laws. Whether you're here watching on Facebook, YouTube, on the podcast, I love to hear from you. So leave me a message, leave me a comment down below. Even if you're on the replay, say hey, let me know how this conversation is landing for you. And if you're here live with me, contribute to the conversation. If you've ever been to any of my live events or any of my videos, I guess, I love communicating with you guys. I love to hear from you because it definitely feels like you're talking to a screen if I'm alone here. So, hey, Kelty. Hi. So good to see you. I hope you're having a beautiful day. It's a little bit chilly here in Costa Rica. I just had my sweater on and I use any opportunity that I get to put a sweater on, I take it. If it is even a little bit cool, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be nice and cozy because here we don't get to wear many clothes very often. So I took it off because I know I'm gonna be warm in a second here. So anyway, let's get into it, you guys. Today is the 13th of November. Manifest started 2 days ago. So Manifest is my 11-week group coaching program. This is the first time I'm running it. And like I mentioned on the call on Tuesday on 11/11, I received the guidance, we want to say, to run this program not even 3 weeks ago. And it was one of those things that it just landed in my body and I knew that it was my responsibility. It was like one of those things that you just know. You're like, I've got to bring this to life. This is so good. And it feels, like I said, like a responsibility. So I took action towards it. And every part of the way, it just unfolded beautifully. As you guys have seen, I've been sharing more on my personal page for when I've been talking about Manifest because it is something that is very near and dear to my heart. It feels like such a personal manifestation, a personal endeavor and responsibility to lead, to offer this opportunity to learn how to manifest anything in your life, to learn about quantum leaping and working with the universal laws. This is what I'm teaching you inside Manifest. And so on Tuesday, it started, and it was a little bit of an emotional start. Before I pressed it, before I joined the Zoom room, I was like, whew, I gotta breathe here because there are a bunch of women inside that I know are going to completely transform their lives, collapse time in the most beautiful ways, and being in community together when we are doing things upgrading our identity, taking action in a new way, experiencing all the contrast that comes along with that. Because sometimes, the universe, when we are asking for new experiences, it's very common for us to experience the contrast, right? And when we are, Kelty says I'm wearing tea inside. When we are moving through the contrast alone, what happens? We take it often as, an opportunity to retract and to turn around and to shrink back down and to go back to what is or has been comfortable. And when we are in community together and we are rising and elevating and intentionally growing together, intentionally manifesting and co-creating a new reality for ourselves, when we're doing that together, that is everything. So everything I do is community focused. An example here is I was just, but right before I hit live video here on Facebook, I saw a post from a woman I know who was saying that she received a call last week about her company that she worked for being restructured, and she lost her job. And, you know, one could look at that as like an opportunity to spiral and like freak the fuck out, right? And kind of like uh, like I said, like scramble, right? Like, oh my God, now what? I'm gonna like, go to the worst case scenario. I'm gonna have no job. I'm gonna be unemployed. I'm a single mom, like, and spiral into this, like, oh my God, this is happening to me. What's going on? Um, or one could look at it as opportunity, because more times than not, I almost want to say every time, there's part of you that had been asking for that. So whether you hated your job, hated your boss, something about the work was draining you, just feeling really abrasive, and you knew it wasn't aligned with you, or maybe you've been waiting for that, or talking about, maybe even with yourself, like talking about the possibility of starting your own thing, or maybe even you've been playing with some things you have been doing, like you've been offering some service on the side that you've been telling yourself, oh, I would love to do this all day long, right? This feels so aligned, this feels so magical, this feels so effortless, I just wish I could do this all the time. Of course, when we're manifesting, if we're doing it kind of like what do I want to say, like unintentionally almost, it's like we're manifesting because we're always manifesting, right? We're manifesting based upon our beliefs and our thoughts. And so our thoughts create things. And if we've been thinking, oh, I wish I could do this all day long, I wish this was my job, I wish I could get paid for this, I wish I could, make my millions this way and have, I just, I'd work a few hours a day and just be totally in my passion and purpose, like if we've been talking about that, what's going to happen? If we've been focusing on that, what's going to happen? The universe is going to deliver. And sometimes it delivers in the form of something like losing a job. And like I said, the human likes to, maybe look at that and be like, oh my God, like the world is ending because I no longer have a steady income. But really what's happening is, some people call it the quantum crumble before the quantum leap. And this can happen. I know this is happening for a lot of you, especially those of you in my world right now, right? We've been moving in new ways. We've been taking new action. We've been like taking not just like these baby steps, we've been leaping. And what's happening as a result is the contrast likes to show up, right? I was on a call last night with my mentor, and she was talking about what happens in the physical body when we start to expand our perceptions and expand our reality. Okay, and it can have to do with anything and everything. In the physical body, she used the analogy of the lungs, and this is something I'm actually going to bring to the conversation inside Manifest next week. She said that your lungs have a certain capacity, and when I know I'm not going to deliver it as well as she did last night, but when you are expanding your capacity, when you're expanding who you believe you are, okay, you are, in other words, another way to look at it is expanding through your breathing capacity, right? Often when we are not believing in ourselves, like doubting everything, we don't have a very good self-image, like we don't value our worth, things like that, chances are our lung capacity is also very restricted. Interesting, right? So we're breathing shallow. Okay, so when we start expanding our perceptions, that's why breath work is so powerful. And also, this is why that deep breath is really important when it comes to my tapping method as well, right? Because we are expanding and releasing in a certain way. So as we start expanding our capacity to perceive, receive, and hold more, in other words, we are becoming a new version of us. We begin expanding through our lungs as well, our lung capacity, like our literal physical lungs in our body. And what tends to happen sometimes is we can get sick. Okay, we catch a cold, we catch that like cough. Okay, um, somebody yesterday mentioned that in Joe Dispenza's world, they call this the Dispenza influenza because it is a known thing that physically, when we are expanding in this way, we will also encounter physical in our how do I say this? Like as we are expanding physically, the body can show signs of this expansion through the lungs in this way, and it can manifest as like a cough or a cold in the body, right? Because the physical body is a mirror of like Louise Hay says, right? Like you can heal your life, or I think it's called You Can Heal Your Life, right? It's like there's an emotional side to everything. So anyway, she used that analogy, and I thought it was really beautiful because sometimes when we are expanding and we're moving at such a rapid pace, like our body has a physical reaction to the quantum leap. And it can show up. Let me know if this has ever happened to Dispenza influenza. I hope I remember that. Yeah. So every time when you're quantum leaping and you notice you're feeling run down, you're feeling like overly emotional, like unusually emotional, you're feeling actually like physically sick, you have a contracted like this cough or this cold, and you have this like phlegm, gross, I know, but like coming out of your body, you're like extracting this old way of existing and clearing. So I want you to really remember that analogy of the lungs, right? That expansion. It's like, oh, because we only use like a fraction, just like we only use a small part of our brain, we also only use a small part of our lungs. So as we are expanding, we're taking out more space. We are moving in a new way. We are seeing ourselves differently. We're holding ourselves higher. We're taking new risks, taking different action. What can happen is that physical illness. And instead of reacting to it and telling ourselves a story of, I don't know if I'm there, or I'm not good enough, or whatever it may be, it's literally seeing it as, oh my God, I'm in the middle of a fucking quantum leap and this is happening. And it's up to me to take care of myself as she would, right? Just an example. Okay, so that's a physical reaction the body can have. But in the physical world around us, there can also be things like the job loss, right? Opportunities. I had a conversation this morning with one of my clients inside the mastermind, the Quantum Leap Mastermind, who was talking about her dishwasher breaking. And she's like, how is this? Like, this is happening. All these things seem to be breaking around me. Like, what's going on? And I was like, this is beautiful. Even though it feels like a lot right now, like, even though it can feel like it's happening to you, what I want you to do is ask yourself, how is this making me a millionaire? How is this dishwasher breaking making me a millionaire right now? Anything that's happening around you, right? It's all contributing to your next level, even if it feels like it's not. Okay, how? Because it's the universe, God, source, creator, giving you an opportunity to actually prove yourself. Okay, because when the dishwasher breaks, how would she deal with it? Yeah, of course, you're probably like, well, she would just go and buy a new damn dishwasher. Like, not even think twice about it, because she has the financial situation to be able to do that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not asking you to go and spend above your abilities right now. I'm not asking you to go in like debt because that's what she would do. She would spend without thinking about it. That's not what I'm saying. It's because it depends. In other words, okay, how do I say this? How would she react to that dishwasher breaking? It's not necessarily what she would do financially. It's all about how she would feel about it and how she would move through the situation, because there's always an opportunity. There's always an opportunity to feel differently about any situation. Instead of reacting, instead of snowballing and spiraling and this is always happening, things are collapsing around me, this is, life is so hard. It's catching yourself and saying, oh, this is an opportunity for me to actually deal with the situation in a different way, and to be able to hold this situation in a way maybe I never have before, and then see it as an opportunity to grow, because it's not what you do. It's not what you do. Because if it was what you do, everyone who works a job or has a business and pours their heart and soul into it, and does everything that they need to do to be successful, shows up and does the things, would be multimillionaires by now. They would be billionaires. It's not about what you do, it's about how you do the thing and who you believe you are when you're doing it. That's everything. So even if the world feels like it's crumbling around you, but you've been asking for a new reality, instead of reacting and saying, this is so hard, I don't know if I can do this, no, I want you to alchemize that into, oh yeah, this is happening. I asked for this. And this is my opportunity to actually respond in a new way and take new action towards the thing I actually want to do. And sometimes that means, it doesn't necessarily mean turn around and go and do more, right? That's not what I'm saying here either. It's an opportunity sometimes. What would she do when the dishwasher breaks? So maybe she would go and make herself a cup of tea and sit down and think about it, instead of the spiral. Okay, we got a phone call that we weren't expecting. How is this helping me to become a millionaire? Make a cup of tea and sit down and ponder it. This is now an opportunity. Well, it's freed up my time so I can actually focus on the thing that actually lights me up. How can I get better at that craft? Right? Focus on the law of compensation. I know we're meant to be talking about the law of assumption here, but this is also connected. I'll come back there. We'll make it back there. Because your only job with the law of compensation is to get better at your craft. Right? Because I'm going to find just looking for a note. Something came to mind. Right? Because the law of compensation, you are paid based upon the value you bring to the world, right? So how replaceable you are. Is there a need for what you do? And how good you are at it. The only one that is really up to you is how good you are at it. And if you are committed to getting better and using this opportunity that maybe the younger version of you would have seen as like, oh fuck, this is like something that needs to be fixed, or you freak out a little bit. Can you turn on the music, please? Music down, please. It's really loud. Okay. So instead of the music over there though, right? Okay, thanks. Instead of reacting in that way, it's really, I can't remember exactly where I was, but it's very much like working on your craft and seeing, okay, this is an opportunity for me to actually do what I wanted to do and actually believe in myself and level up my identity to match the version of me who's already doing it. Okay, so getting better at your craft. This is so cool. So this is a lot of what we're doing inside Manifest, you guys. If you're not inside Manifest yet, you can grab the link from the comments if you're watching on Facebook. DM me on Instagram or wherever you're watching this, on the podcast, comment, look in the show notes on YouTube. We started, like I said, on Tuesday, but this is so much of what we're doing together, and it makes so much of a difference when we go together. So what does this have to do with the law of assumption? Because the law of assumption states that what you assume to be true will be your truth. So the average person believes that life is happening around them and that it's happening to them, right? And they just take it as it comes without much of a say. Okay, the average person believes that what happened in the past happened to them and it's going to happen again, right? For example, oh, well, I tried that already. Oh, well, I already tried to sell that thing nobody bought. I already tried to do, my own thing and it didn't work, right? What happened, the average person believes that what happened in the past happened to them and it's going to happen again. So as well, the average person believes that money is solely a form of exchange, and it has to be earned. Like hard work is required and money is limited. But it's not true. Okay, as well, the average person will never fulfill their dreams because it's not that they're not capable, it's because they don't realize that they are capable. Crazy, right? So I did a post on this the other day, and it's just like, it's so important because what we assume to be true will be our truth. And the universe is only reflecting back to us what we believe to be true, right? Manifestation is really simple. You get what you give. So if you are assuming the world's a hard place, money's limited, everything's happening to you, that the dishwasher is just breaking, if you're assuming that whatever it is, it will be reflected back to you. But what I want you to do, if you take anything from this conversation today, is to be intentional with your assumption and to realize that if you have been asking for a new opportunity and it feels like you're receiving the opposite, I want you to see it as a gift and ask yourself, how is this making me the millionaire, right? How is this leading me to what I want? And how can I move through this contrast in a way that she would? In a way that she would. That's everything, because it's not what we do, it's how we do it and who we believe we are when we're doing it. All right? So let me know if this conversation's blending. Again, even if you're on the replay, I want to hear from you. All right? So the tapping I wanted to do today is actually a really fun one. It's so fun because it's tapping into the energy of assuming that you're the luckiest person alive. And this is everything because our assumptions are everything. They co-create our reality. And if we believe we're the luckiest, I'm the luckiest, but I'm no better than anyone else, of course. But I'm intentionally doing my best. And most people aren't even trying, to be honest. But that's beside the point, okay? But I'm intentionally doing my best, being my best, growing into the best of myself, moving through the contrast, up-leveling my beliefs. That's all that I can do, and I'm doing my best, and I'm the luckiest. What's going to start to happen around you? Your point of attraction, the signal you're sending out into the quantum field is going to be what? That of limitless potential, abundance, overflow, whatever it is. And it's going to be mirrored back to you. And that's really beautiful. And that's what we want, right? We don't want life to be hard. We don't want struggle. We don't want overwhelm. We don't want lack and limitation. We don't necessarily want the contrast, right? But the contrast is going to show up. It is a necessary piece of moving forward and growing. And it comes down to how we move through the contrast, how we view the contrast, and how we co-create through the contrast. And actually see it as a setup, because that's what it is. It is a sign, it is an opportunity, maybe wrapped in, the garment or the costume of the dishwasher breaking or the job, the lost job, whatever it is. But it's an opportunity to actually grow through it. Okay, so are we excited? I'm going to record here for the membership as well, as I always like to do. If you have never tapped with me before, all you're going to do is do what I do and say what I say. Just follow me. It's very different than potentially any other tapping you have ever done. My expand method is what I like to call manifestation meets EFT tapping. So EFT, if you're brand new to the tapping world, EFT is emotional freedom techniques. So you probably know, we store emotion in our bodies. We store information in our bodies. Everything that we've experienced up until now is stored in our body and in our subconscious mind. So EFT tapping helps us to move that emotion and that information in our body and out of our body. So we're using our voice to give a voice to the voices inside our head, and that information that is coming up, and move it out of our body. free ourselves from this information, these old beliefs, this old information, okay? So the tapping we're going to do today is less about venting and processing information and more about tapping in the belief that we are the luckiest, that everything is happening in our favor, that we are using the law of assumption in our favor, okay? So as we are doing this, I want you to be very aware of what shows up for you, because those doubts, those fears, those questions, that tension, that trigger even is the key to unlocking your next level. Okay, what I mean by that is any resistance that you feel is an opportunity to face it, okay? Because we don't run from resistance or fears, because it is there to show us something. It is an opportunity to grow and to be better. Okay, so any resistance, I encourage you to just jot it down, write it down, because when you can actually sit with that and look at it, okay, when Jocelyn said, I'm the favorite, but that hasn't been my reality up until now, and I was triggered by that, why would I be triggered by that? And you can actually kind of follow it back sometimes, even to the point in time, for example, where it was grade 7 and it was gym class and you were chosen last for your kickball team, right? But part of you is still holding on to that information in your body and still letting it affect you in your day-to-day life. So part of you had still been believing, I'm not the favorite. Like, I am not important. I am not good enough. And that little piece of information, healing that piece of information will change your entire experience in a really big way. So this is a lot of the work I do in my programs, in my private coaching, inside the Expand Tapping membership as well. I have a inner child quantum healing session that takes you back to that experience and helps you to heal it, to use your voice in that time and space and to heal that. So anyway, that's just an example. So write down anything that's coming up for you when we are doing the tapping, because that piece of information, when you can face it, instead of continuing to shove it in the closet and pretend it doesn't exist, when you can face it, this is how we actually move through it, free it from our experience, and change our entire lives. Because we're changing our point of attraction, we're changing the beliefs we hold about ourselves and about the world around us, and therefore changing our reality, because we co-create our reality through our beliefs. All right. I know this is a lot, but I trust that you can hold it. Okay, are we ready? Take a comfortable seat. Roll your shoulders back a couple times. Take a deep breath in. Expanding those lungs, remember. And then exhale as if you're blowing out a candle on a cake. Take another deep breath in. And exhale. Notice how you're feeling in this moment. Just doing a little quick check-in. And then when you're ready, we're going to start tapping on the top of the head. What a beautiful day it is today. I feel so grateful that everything is working out in my favor. It's wild how everything just shows up for me exactly as I need it. I don't need to work hard or struggle in any way. It just happens for me. And this feels, how's it feel? Because I'm the favorite. But I'm no better than anyone else. I'm just doing my best. And every day I'm getting better. I've let go of any doubts, any fears, any worries or wonders. And I've decided that my life is happening for me. And anything that happened in the past, anything that was limiting me in any way, it's gone. I've let it go. I feel so much lighter just saying these words out loud. Like anything is possible. And this is really exciting. Because I know in my soul that I'm here to do really big things. And I'm going to go into my day now, knowing with every cell in my body that everything I desire desires me. And that it's already happening all around me. And as I move through my day, I'm going to see signs, proof that it's all working out everywhere I go. It's going to be like a fun game between the universe and I. And I'm going to be so intentional today with the way I move through my day. Because I now know that it's actually the little things that make the biggest difference. And this shift is everything. I can feel it so clearly in my body. It's all happening for me now. Because I'm the favorite. I'm the luckiest person around. I'm open and ready to receive all the good I've been calling in. And I'm ready to take action in a new way today. And no matter what comes my way, I know I can hold it. Because I know it's all happening for me. And so it is. Okay. Take a deep breath in, put one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly. You can close your eyes. And slowly exhale. Let's take another inhale. And again, as you do, notice how you're feeling. Notice if you feel any shifts in your body, in your emotional body, your energetic body. And exhale. And then open your eyes when you're ready. Let me know in the comments how that landed for you, even if you're on the replay. I love to hear from you guys. I always respond. I'm always going to respond to you. I love hearing from you guys. Tapping in this way is such a simple tool that is available to everyone. Doesn't matter where you are, doesn't matter what you're doing, doesn't matter what time of day it is. It's such a powerful tool. I just know that somatics, and this is like working with the body, the energetic body, the emotional body, the physical body, bringing those three together, even the spiritual body, is the way forward. Kelty says, I feel so clear and calm. I love it. Kelty taps every single day, multiple times a day. Right, Kelty? She's in my membership. She's in Manifest. Kelty is doing incredible things in her life. And so tapping helps us to shift our energy, shift our point of attraction, to shift our signal of what we're sending out. And she said, oh, I just got an amazing idea. Yes. Okay, great opportunity. Tapping helps our nervous system to calm down and our mind to calm down. So especially when we are in the thick of the contrast, I'm going to say, you know, we are, whether you're quantum leaping, you are manifesting something new, the universe is giving you opportunities left, right, and center, or so it seems, you know, maybe testing you in some ways. This is an opportunity for you to regulate, calm back down, right? Engage that sympathetic nervous system so that the parasympathetic nervous system, so that we can think, we can dream, we can feel, we can be at peace, we can breathe, right? Because when our sympathetic nervous system is engaged, we're in the fight or flight, we're in survival mode, we can't even think. So of course, Kelty just got an amazing idea. I tap every single morning, and I've always got my notebook nearby because I know without a shadow of a doubt that I'm always going to receive multiple ideas as I'm tapping, because it helps me to get in the frequency of the wish fulfilled. Coming back to the law of assumption, right? So this tapping session was one that you could use, you could practice every day to get yourself in the frequency of, I'm the luckiest person around. Life is happening for me. This is amazing. My universe is so beautiful. And that's incredible, okay? But I will say, anytime contrast shows up, anytime that doubt, that fear, that worry shows up, I don't want you to just come to this tapping and tell yourself, everything's working out in my favor. I want you to actually face it. That's what makes my method different than other tapping. And that's also what makes EFT tapping so powerful. That's what makes my work powerful, because I've worked with a lot of women over the years, over the decade. And what I know to be true is we must face the fears. We must face the insecurities, the doubts. Because if we don't, just like I mentioned, if you don't go and close that chapter of your life, it will continue to show up again and again. We've heard this before. It's like that piece of, like, you know, if you don't heal the self-doubt, you're going to continue to attract people who are just going to manipulate you and use you and whatever it is, right? You've got to heal that before you can move forward. And so there's always going to be more to become aware of. That's another thing, is I don't want you to get stuck in the healing or like stalled in the healing piece, because with my method of tapping, we are healing and expanding at the same time. We're not focused just on freeing that from our body and continually telling ourselves, you know, like, I'm healed, I'm healing, I'm healing. No, we're doing that healing work at the same time that we are overriding it with a new reality, and that is everything. Because what we focus on always expands. So if we're still focused on healing, if we're still focused on what happened in the past, it's going to continue to show up. So we don't want to do that. You can decide you're healed right here and now, and you can decide what you want your experience to be moving forward, okay? You get to choose. This is the difference between leaving everything up to the universe or God and you taking ownership of your life and co-creating with the universe or God. Okay, this is what I call the effortless way. And again, I'm teaching this all in Manifest. So anyway, you guys, I'd love to hear from you. Let me know in the chat how that landed for you. I'm so grateful for every single one of you. If you are even like interested in learning more about Manifest, you can find the link down in the comments or the show notes wherever you're listening or watching, and reach out if you have any questions. Manifest is an 11-week group coaching program that is fully immersive, which means that you have a full community around you as you go through the program. It is a live experience. We have live lessons on Tuesdays at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, where I deliver a concept or an experience. And then on Fridays, on Tuesdays, we also have homework to go with it. So integration homework. We already have our morning tapping session in there, their quantum healing session, our quantum visualization, where we went into a future timeline to bring that information back. Our next lesson on the Tuesday coming next week is on deciding what our dream life and financial situation in that experience is. And I'm going to be leading the group through a exercise where they're going to be making these simple upgrades in their daily life now that are going to cause quantum leaps in their world. And it's so exciting. On Fridays, we have our embodiment sessions where I bring in my tapping method, and any resistance, any doubts, any fears, any contrast that has shown up throughout the week, we come together on Fridays at 11 to talk about it. And we create a tapping session together on live to release that information back out into the wild, to let it go, to free it from our bodies, from our minds, from our quantum fields, so that we can co-create in a new way. And it's so beautiful. So yeah, grab the link, come and join us. It's $111 per month for 3 months. It is 11 weeks. It's going to end up being longer than 11 weeks because we are skipping 1 week in December. And we also have a graduation call, so there's that as well. So anyway, reach out if you have any questions. I can't wait to welcome you into Manifest. If you feel called to join us, this is definitely for you, and I can't wait to see you inside. Okay, thank you so much for being here, you guys. Thank you for being on live with me, Kelty, and for everyone on the replay, you guys. Go have a beautiful day, because you are the luckiest person around and everything is happening in your favor, and there's no way you can fuck it up. See you soon.